Afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. For those that may not know, my name is John Haila, and I'm your mayor. And we also have some council members here this afternoon. We have Gloria Betcher over here. I know David Martin is here, right there, behind the mask. Tim Garton. And is there anybody else here? Frankly, it's kind of hard to tell with the mask. So, anyway, it's an honor to be here with you. Sunset Ridge Park is the most recent addition to our park system. We have 38 other parks throughout the city. And as we continue to build homes and neighborhoods, we're going to continue to build parks. And outdoor recreation is a building block to strengthening all of our neighborhoods. This is another example of how the collaborative approach between public and private partnerships work, and we are proud to be associated with this. The Neighbors, Property Owners Association, and the city work closely together to determine the needs, what the park should look like, and to meet the needs of the neighborhood. And just look at the wonderful result that this partnership has produced. And on behalf of City Council, I just want to thank all of you who gave of your time, of your resources, and who donated to this project. And this is just an awesome addition to our community and our park system. So thank you very much. And it's my honor now to go ahead and introduce Keith Abraham, the Director of Parks and Recreation, and he'll make some comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is always one of those fun things that we get to do is open up a park, and out of all of the things that I do as director, working with neighborhood associations, property owner associations is one of the I think the more fun things that I get to do, because I get to learn a lot about people. I get to meet a lot of different people, and that's a really fun aspect of the job. You know, just a little history with this project. So when and I don't know if Craig is going to talk about this or not, but I think at one point this property was slated to be a dog park, and it never materialized. And I remember at a commission meeting when we were talking about the capital improvement plan, Ed Knight, who was the association president at the time, came to the commission and said, hey, we would like the commission to think about adding a park to Sunset Ridge subdivision. And in that first year, it didn't get a lot of traction. It didn't get put into the priority list. So if you know Ed, he wasn't to be deterred, so he came back the next year and brought it up again, and then it did get put into the capital improvement plan, or the CIP. The Parks and Recreation Commission recommended to City Council that it be included, and then City Council eventually allocated $80,000 to the project. And I know a number of you that are out here were with us in Ed's garage on some Sunday nights, having conversation. What is it that you want in the park? What do you want the park to be? What's your vision as a neighborhood? And work through all of that. And then we did work with eventually with Snyder and Associates, and Don Marner is over here, so thank you, Don. We worked with them, and they actually did the design and gave a couple of different options, and then we take them back to the committee, Parks Committee for the association, and kind of work through it and wound up settling on this. The design was what you see before us. So it has been a lot of fun, like I said, to get to know a lot of people and learn a lot about what everybody wants in the neighborhood and who they are. So with that, this park is pretty well finished. There are a couple of things that are going to need to be done. As you can tell, we're going to need to seed the area around the concrete. We will be putting up a sign that will say Sunset Ridge Park. There will be a recognition sign for the donors, which are on this sign over here, and I think Craig is going to speak to that a little bit. And then And then we still have to hook up the electricity and put a light in the shelter and some outlets. So, but in the meantime, this park can be used by the neighborhood, and I know it already has been used. I think there's one thing that I wanted to just highlight, and this is something that we've been doing over the last 7 years since I became director. We had conversation, and we're really trying to get our park system trim-free. And what that means is that when we design parks and when we put parks together, we won't have to trim this park. When we come up here with a mower, we'll be able to put an edge of the mower over the sidewalk. Everything else, we'll just be able to mow, and we won't have to trim. And then we can put those resources to other things that we want to do in the park system. And there's a couple other little things that we do or that we've been doing with the lights and controls and stuff like that. But with that, I also want to just, and I know Craig, you're going to talk about Hunziker in a little bit, with some in-kind, but just even recently as last week, there was a mound of dirt over here, and Justin Dodge from Hunziker and Associates called up Joshua on a Thursday night or whatever night it was and said, hey, you don't mind if are you going to get to that pile, or do you want us? We'll just do it for you for free. And Joshua said, sure, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. So when the mayor was talking about that collaboration between public and private and the property owner association, it's really a good thing. I also want to thank Joshua Thompson, who's over here. He's our Parks and Facilities Superintendent. Sometimes when we do these projects, we hire a contractor, and then the contractor hires all the subs. With this particular project, we basically served as a general contractor. So Joshua worked with the playground manufacturer, got it installed, and then with a couple of other companies to do the concrete work and so on. And I would like to thank our park staff. None of them are here tonight, but they did put the shelter up. They constructed the shelter. They do the engineered wood fibers in by the equipment, put the swings up, and a number of other things. They'll be doing the sign and so on. So I want to make sure that thank them. So again, I have really much appreciated working with Craig and Jody and everybody else within the committee and with the neighbors, and again having those garage meetings, which I absolutely love, getting out on a Sunday night and getting into neighborhoods and really talking to people. So thank you. And with that, I am going to introduce Sarah Cady, who is chairperson of our Parks and Recreation Commission. Sarah?
All right, thank you everyone for joining us on this steamy evening, so I'll try to keep my remarks short. As Keith mentioned, I am the chair of the Parks and Recreation Commission. I would just encourage everyone, if you're interested in getting more involved with the city, take a look at the commissions and boards that are available for you to serve. It's not a position you have to run for. You apply for it, basically write an essay and say why you're interested in serving on a board or commission. There are many different boards and commissions. Parks and Rec is obviously one of the most visible ones. Public Art Commission is very visible. Planning and Zoning in terms of sort of plotting the path to future development in Ames. And there's just lots of ways to get involved. As part of the commission, we have 7 members. We've been meeting over Zoom the past 5 months like everybody else, but normally we meet in council chambers. We receive feedback from the citizens of Ames regarding various projects, whether they're interested in pursuing a project or they have feedback on the planning process for a project. And like Keith mentioned, this is a great example of sort of a citizen-led project where it was the citizens and the residents of the neighborhood who said, hey, this is This is what we want to do with this land. Let's see how we can do it, through this public-private partnership, through the donation of the land, donation of some funds to go towards the equipment, in addition to the city CIP funds and the city maintaining the property. It's just really wonderful to see the enthusiasm that the neighbors have for this project, and it, to me, is so emblematic of how Ames citizens feel empowered to voice their opinions about our city facilities. Keith mentioned to me yesterday, we had another ribbon cutting yesterday for a monument at Ada Hayden Park, and he mentioned that there were several volunteers out at 8 o'clock in the morning assembling picnic tables in a thunderstorm, so I think that just really speaks to the commitment of this neighborhood to see this project to completion. We have 38 parks in Ames, and they each serve a unique function and meet the needs of our citizens in various ways. While the nearby Daly Park is excellent for walkers and residents on the south side of Lincoln Way, there's obviously not a safe or easy way for young people or any pedestrians really to access that park space for individuals living here in the Sunset Ridge neighborhood. This is a quickly growing neighborhood. I remember we looked at a house in this neighborhood maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's crazy to see how much it has grown since that time. I am also a resident of West Ames, but on the other side of North Dakota. So the last few months, as we all know, has made apparent that a well-maintained park system is crucial to the physical and emotional well-being of our citizens. Parks and outdoor spaces are one of the few safe places that it is safe to gather right now. Here it is safe to gather for an outdoor meal, playtime with children or pets, or exercising in small groups. Communal outdoor spaces and green spaces are so important to us, especially at a time where we find our travel outside our neighborhood so limited. So I really hope you enjoy this space for yourselves and for your families for many years to come. And I just want to thank all the citizens and all of the partners that worked so hard to bring this project to completion. And thank you.
I'm Craig Mack, president of the association. I'm more of a figurehead here. There's other people that did a lot more than I. And my wife reminded me that you guys came for the ice cream, not for me, so I'll make my comments brief. First of all, Mayor and council members, thank you for looking outside the strategic plan, being flexible, and being willing to listen and say, you know, that's not a bad idea. If you want to do it, we'll go in with you. And you took a risk, and thank you for doing that. And Sarah, thank you for approving the project with the commission and letting us go forward. I don't think I can mention enough of the city's departments. I'll probably miss some because Keith led us by the hand through the process, and the ones I know of and were in meetings with was legal, planning, city parks and recs, and many others. So we thank you for our administration and for the workers, and for the workers, as it's already been mentioned. Much of this park has been done. The true story of that, putting the picnic tables together, is I wasn't in the office, but I can imagine the conversation between Joshua and Keith. We've got some picnic tables, Keith says, and Joshua says, we don't have people. They're all out cleaning up the rubbish from the storm. We need the picnic tables, said Keith. Joshua said, so go do it. So Keith,
You're exactly right, Frank.
So Keith and some of our members came on Saturday morning, the only day it rains in all summer, but we are in the shade of the shelter and already used the shelter. So we can't say enough for Joshua and Keith and their department for making this happen. We have private businesses that I want to show appreciation to. Hunsinger Development, as Keith has mentioned, Happy Homes, TJC Construction Services, Barilla American Incorporated, and Cardinal Gymnastics are all major donors for this project, and we appreciate them and thank them. We have appreciations for the members of the Sunset Ridge Association, individual donations, a unanimous vote to deed the land over to this city, and then also a vote to provide funds from our association dues to help get this park completed. So thank you for all the association members. This is what collaboration looks like. As you hear negative new reports on conflicts and destructions in other cities in the world, you can say, not my neighborhood, not my city. Come, see this park. Talk to our mayor, talk to our council, see how it's done. This is what collaboration is all about. Thank you very much. We do have one ongoing, come on up, Jody, the ice cream is melting. we have one unfinished business, and it will never finish, and that is if this is a safe park for the kids, we need to have a safe way for them to get here. And Wilder and all of our streets, as the kids come to play, they have one thing in mind: get to the park as fast as possible. As we leave and come into the neighborhood, we have one thing in mind: get home or get to work as fast as possible. So if you see something, say something. I would rather have an offended driver than a tragic accident that will put a mar on this park for life. Last but most importantly, this project was conceived and driven by the mothers of our neighborhood. There's South Hartford, where you drive into Hartford. There's the original germ of this park came out of that group that's always out on Friday and Saturdays nights when you drive in. And I, again, wasn't there, but I imagine some mother said, we don't need a dog park. We need a safe place for our children to play. And so the mothers conceived it. Jody is representative. She's been on the committee since conception. She's been at every meeting, every council meeting, every planning meeting, just every meeting. She was there in the beginning, and it's only appropriate that she's here to have the last word in the end. Jody?
I am so excited that this day has come, and I hope I don't get emotional. But about 5 years ago, Craig's right. This neighborhood said that we wanted to have a park. And we put a small committee together to look into having a park and doing it on our own. And so we thought, you know, we could raise some funds, we could look at some park equipment. And that initial group included Chris and Russ Kosar, who are back there, Amanda Kuba, Sarah Blaney, and myself. Amanda and Sarah have moved on, but we didn't take long for us to realize that we needed more help putting a park in. So we decided to see if the city might be willing to work with us. And so we contacted Keith. He came and looked at this land when it was just a bare piece of land. And he then went to talk with the city manager. And I have to laugh because I think he said the city manager's like, yeah, I'm sure it's some big hill they don't want to deal with and they want the city to deal with. And Keith's like, no, it's really actually a pretty nice piece of land. And so the city manager and Keith agreed that they would continue to explore and look and work with us. And as Keith said, we went to the Park and Rec Committee and asked them, and they agreed. And Keith, as Keith mentioned, Keith and Josh met with our association numerous times. The city council agreed to put money in that continuing improvement project for us. We decided that as an association that we would deed the land. And as has been mentioned, businesses and association members gave donations big and small towards the park. Kids and adults came to our neighborhood association and voted on which piece of equipment they wanted to be here. And finally, we are here today. As you can hear, there were a lot of people involved in getting here today. And working together really makes great things happen. I'm so grateful our kids will have a safe place to come and play. We will have a place to have many more neighborhood picnics. This is something that our neighborhood can take great pride in and enjoy for years to come. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for making it a reality.
Thank you, Jody. And one thing that I did, I guess, forget to mention when I talked earlier about the city council had allocated $80,000. When we did the design and we started putting costs together, we realized quickly that this was probably going to be in the neighborhood of about $120,000 to make this park happen. And that's when worked with Craig and Jody and all those others that have been mentioned, and things that if this is what you want, there'll have to be some fundraising. And the association went out and through in-kind and monetary donations have raised over $40,000 for this project. So give yourselves a big round of applause for that. So, oh.
I mentioned that initial park group, but I did want to recognize our current members of our park committee that have been in many of the meetings. That included Craig and Diane Mack, Mary Ronayne, Dave Edgert, Bradley Miller, and Jane Metcalf. So we do also want to thank our current park committee. And also for the ice cream that we're going to have later, thank you to Craig and Diane for providing that as well. So again, lots of people involved, so thank you everybody.
And the ice cream originally, this was going to be, this association always has a potluck, like on this night before school starts. I came to it last year and it was wonderful. I don't know who it was. Somebody had brewed their own beer and brewed some root beer for the kids and everything. Just a wonderful atmosphere. So right now what we're going to do is cut the ribbon. So what I'd like to do is Joshua and I are going to pull this ribbon, but if we can get some of the kids come up by either Joshua and I help hold the ribbon, we'll get the mayor. If we get council members, commission members, and then anybody from the neighborhood committee wants to come up and help the mayor, that would be great.
Got it?
All right, you guys get in there.
You ready?
Mayor countdown.
Ready? 3, 2,